Okay. Um, I wanted to just kind of take a moment, jot down some thoughts about a different type of strategy that I am actually in testing mode right now. Um, it was actually July the 5th is when I discovered it because there was some very interesting stuff going on July the 4th. But I digress. I took it on the chin that day. Probably should have been trading, but I saw what I thought was a good trade. But this post is not about that. Um, what had been staring me in the face this whole entire time, as I'm and so many of us are looking for that one good trade. And then I looked at my charts because I'm always a big believer in my charts always trying to tell me something. And they were screaming on July the 5th, 2018. Um, I recall once seeing a video about the Agimat reversal indicator. Um, and of course, I took it on suggestion from another member of Pip Society. And so, of course, I just sort of used it to see when the market would reverse. I certainly was very aware that it repaints as it approaches its peak. What I didn't take into consideration is two things. One, if you're going to trade using the Agimat reversal indicator, you trade based on the previous point, just as if the same system that we have been learning. So the 4 hour indicator time frame is the strongest and yields, from what I can tell, the highest of the high probability trades. Um, I'm on my phone, so I can't really see it right now, but I do believe. I can't find it on here. I really needed to be on my. Oh, right here. Right here. I guess that's where I should have. Right here was its peak, and it painted a reversal arrow right here at the low point. When I scaled down and looked at it on the 15, there it was just staring me right smack dab in the face. A nice, pretty W. So I did some historical back testing. I noticed that at each one of those Agimat reversal arrows, it's either a M, a W, or a V straightaway. And I thought that was pretty daggone powerful because these things run for pips. And I'd see it and I'd look at it and I'd always wonder, there's got to this is here for something. And like I said, July the 5th, it came perfectly clear. So I have jumped in on the dollar, and I have since then, I've kind of just ridden this whole trade. Now, of course, I scaled in after I came out of that strike zone, but then as we got into Tuesday, July the 10th, we hit the high of the day, and then we hit a retracement. So what I learned from that, two things. One, I should wait until after big swings if I'm going to swing trade, that's interesting and funny to me. Um, I've noticed that swings can be 100 pips or so. So, if you're going to trade in a swing trade, certainly be ready for 100 pip swings against you. I also learned if I happen to get into some scale in positions and a retracement begin, then I'm in profit like I see here on the screen. I should I should check out of those scale in positions and take whatever profit there is, wait for the end of the retracement, and then when it begins back on the trend, get back in. I didn't do that obviously here, but that's the whole purpose of kind of trying to develop this strategy and coming up with the do's and the don'ts, what I will and what I won't do in order to take this one good trade, because that's certainly what I'm after. The one thing I've noticed in terms of my decision making, it's getting better. I am even more emotionless, um, and I'm actually having an opportunity to learn from some of the mistakes that someone who wants to swing trade doesn't really know how to swing trade. I can do all of the scalp and the intraday trade, but I would certainly like to learn how to swing trade. Swing trades are, you kind of set it and forget it. And based on what I've found so far, and based on the historical backtesting data I found, also, uh, I noticed that these runs tend to, on most weeks, go from Tuesday to Thursday and Thursday to Tuesday. Now, how about that? That's certainly interesting. Um, I certainly want to make sure I made note of that, because all of these things, they just sort of popped out to me, and I went, wow, really? Okay, all right. And so I'm just even more encouraged now to look for those ultimate high quality M's, W's, and V straightaways. Um, I can't really think of anything else right now. That's all the stuff that was running through my mind. Some stuff I jotted down on paper. I wanted to go ahead on and get all of that down before I absolutely forget, like I know I can. So yeah, let's go get these pips.